Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, students. This is Professor Murphy coming to you from Washington, D.C. And this is going to be a quick video that'll give you an overview of the CMIT265 writing project, the network design proposal. And this video will kind of focus around being a bit of an FAQ, frequently asked questions that I get for this project, and will give you kind of a better understanding of what I'm looking for in this project. So if we switch over to the to Leo, when you go to Leo, go into the content tab down here to project instructions. I have to scroll down a little bit so you can see it. Project instructions. And this will bring you into the project instructions for the network design proposal. Now, the first thing you see here is actually kind of a little bit of a backstory for the project. It says you've been hired as part of the networking team at UMUC. After completing orientation and training, your manager calls you into a meeting to discuss your first project. The university has recently leased a building at Delphi, Maryland, which is where UMUC is based. The building will house offices, classrooms, a library, and computer labs. Security is important to for UMUC, as the university must protect its students and employees' data, as well as the intellectual property that UMUC has on its servers and computers. As a result, IT management would like to take the time to review proposals on how best to move forward on security issues. As a network engineer, you have been asked to prepare a network proposal on how to set up a secure network infrastructure in the building to support university operations. And you can read the rest of that kind of backstory, but that's the general synopsis. Is you are creating this this network, this secure network for a new building that's being leased by UMUC in Adelphi, Maryland. So that's the backstory. If you keep scrolling down, you'll get some more information, some instructions for LabSim if you haven't already checked that out, if you haven't already joined the course there, and then Turnitin instructions, which is something I'll go into further about why we use Turnitin, what that's used for, how I'm using it. But this will give you instructions on how to join my course within UMU, the Turnitin course, which is very important for turning in this proposal. But as far as writing the proposal, the two documents that you'll want to focus on are this network design proposal parts 1 through 3, and then the network design proposal template. Now, what I'm going to look into is this network design proposal template. If you click into here, you might have to download the actual document, the docx file, but I have it right here. So this is the network design proposal, and this is basically the way you want to look at this. This is the skeletal frame for your proposal. So when you turn your proposal in, this is kind of how I want it situated, how I want it formatted. So you'll have your title page, and you'll get right into things. You'll have section 1, your part 1 is going to be your physical network design. You're going to have, I believe it's five subsections or 5 sections within part 1. You'll have your network topology. You're going to have network media, network devices, network security devices, and then computer systems. And then it'll go on to part 2, part 3. Now within each section, so within network topology and within within network media and with all those different sections, you're gonna have 3 subsections. Okay. What you'll have is you'll have your proposal. This for some reason actually doesn't show it, but there should be. There you go, business needs. So this is actually showing you the business needs. So you're going to have your business needs first, and I'll go through the subsections first. You'll have business needs, then you're going to have your proposed topology or your proposal, and then the third part is going to be your justification, which again, I don't know why this doesn't have that in there, but it'll have justification. So we'll look at these 3 here. So business needs is you reiterating the needs of the business. So in the other document, the network design proposal parts 1 through 3, it will actually tell you specifically what is needed, what UMUC is asking for. So business needs is going to be you reiterating to the business, to UMUC, here's what you said that you were requiring. Here are the requirements for this network design proposal. For your proposal, for the proposed network media, for the proposed topology, whatever it is, for the second subsection, the proposal, you will be coming up with, this is where you say, okay, based on your business needs, here's what I suggest you do. Here's what I am suggesting for the topology or for the specific media that we're going to be using for the network. And that's all that section is. It's just saying here are the things that I suggest we do based on your business needs. Justification is probably the most important subsection of each section. And the reason why that is because it's your opportunity to explain to management why your proposal is the best possible proposal. And what I'm looking for here is an understanding of not just how your proposal meets the needs or exceeds the needs of the organization, but how other things wouldn't work. So for example, when it comes to your topology, let's say you decide you want to use a mesh topology. Your proposal would say, based on your needs, I want to use a mesh topology. And then your justification would say a mesh topology meets this criteria. And here are these other topologies would not work in the same way. Ring topology wouldn't have this feature. Bus topology would not have this feature, or whatever it may be. Same thing with network media. The business needs will say something about the speed of the network, the size of the network, how far large of a distance between your switch and your computers, that sort of thing. So from that information, you'll come up with a proposal. Say, my proposal is that we should use Category 5 Ethernet cable, or we should use coax, or whatever it might be. Your justification will be, I believe we should use Category 5 because it meets these needs of the business, and I believe that coax will not meet that need because of these reasons. Whatever other sort of cables, fiber optic, we shouldn't use fiber optic because of these. That's what you'll be seeing in the justification is the reasoning behind your proposal, how it meets the needs and how other things won't meet the need. That's where, and this is the reason that I like seeing this split up is because of a couple of reasons. One, in real life, in business, generally speaking, management is only going to read your proposal. If they have any questions, that's when they go into the justification. And then if they're completely confused and they're like, well, this doesn't match with anything that we want, then you can point to the business needs and be like, well, here's what my understanding was of your business needs. If this isn't correct, then we can adjust. But this is kind of how management in real life would react to a proposal. So again, that's one of the big things I want to put forward is that I'd like to see I want to see three subsections within each section. So one, the business needs, where you reiterate the need of UMUC, the proposal, which is you saying here is what I think you should do, and then justification is here's why what I say is the best decision. Cool. So the one other thing to remember for this project is that I will also be looking for citations, outside sources for your papers. Any paper that you do, not just at UMUC, but at any university, is going to require outside sources. Going to require some references. Whether or not if I was taking this course, or I've had some students who have a fairly large background in IT. They come into this and they're just like, look, this is stuff I know. I know how these things work. I don't need outside sources. Understood. However, when this is also another thing with your with real life in any sort of proposal or any sort of documentation that you write for a company or for management or for your team, whatever it is. You will need to reference some sort of outside source saying, okay, here's the documentation, and this isn't just, this isn't just coming off the top of my head. This is related to this documentation that I found, like maybe it's a Microsoft KB article or something to that effect. This is a little bit different, but we do require outside sources, and we also require the sources to be referenced in IEEE format. It may not be used to IEEE format, but let's see, IEEE citation format. You should be able to get information about the format very easily. Here's some examples on what it should look like. But honestly, the best way to do any sort of citation is do a citation calculator or citation generator. There's a number of these out there, but you can use any of these. They'll have IEEE. There's one that I really like. Let me see if I can find it real quickly. Citation. I think I do citation generator, and it is. Yeah, their EasyBib is one I used back when I was in college. BibMe. I'll post the one that I found. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but there are plenty out there that will do IEEE and give you the citation. So what you'll do is at the end of each section of your paper, each part of your paper, you'll have your references listed. I also need you to cite those references within the paper. So you'll see here, you'll have your references kind of in this style, in this kind of a list with this bracket, number bracket on the side. In the paper, right after the sentence that you are using a reference for, you will use this notation, just the bracket, number, bracket. That's all you need for IEEE. It's the easiest citation that I've ever used. It's really nice. So if you have any troubles with that, feel free to let me know, and I'll give you guys some more information about that on in the discussions. So one last thing I wanted to mention was turnitin.com. Now, for many of you, this might be the first time using it. For others, you've used this a lot. I started using this when I was in, I think, middle school, high school. It started coming around. It's been around since about 1997, I think. Something that's been around for a while. But essentially, what Turnitin is a database of written documents, mainly used for detecting plagiarism in educational organizations. So a lot of schools use them for helping detect potential plagiarism. So what it does is when you submit a document to Turnitin.com, they actually will keep that. They'll scan the document and check it against other documents that are in its databases, as well as other sources, basically Google searching, that sort of stuff, to detect any potential plagiarism. It also will keep that document in its database once you submit it for future reference. So generally speaking, it'll come back with a certain percentage of similarity, anywhere from 0 to 100, and of course 0 being least similar and 100 being the most similar you could be. UMUC gives its professors the number of 40% as a kind of a red flag boundary. So anything up to like 39% is perfectly fine. 40% is where we start having to actually take a look at the document, see what exactly is being flagged, and then make judgments from there. Anything from 75, 80% above, that's usually a pretty good sign that something is very, very wrong. So normally, when you submit something, I'll be able to go into Turnitin and see things from my side, and we'll be able to make a determination whether or not I need to ask some questions, or if it's if things are okay. But again, it shouldn't be too much stress. As long as you are citing your sources, as long as you are paraphrasing properly, if you're not quoting but you're just want to paraphrase somebody's words, that's a great way to avoid potential plagiarism. But yeah, just make sure you're citing your sources, and just make sure you're not completely copying a paper from a website. It's the best way to keep from being flagged too high on these things. So there will always be a little bit of similarity, but again, as long as you're below, for me, as long as you're below like 60%, 70%, you're usually fine. So don't worry about that too much. It's not that big of a deal, but it is essential that when you do turn your paper in, turn it into turnitin.com, as well as you want to go to the assignment section in Leo and turn it in within the specific assignment that it's related to. Now, it's very important also to note that for me to grade something in Leo, I need to have it in one of these 3 parts. So if you're one of those people that like to write the entire document first and then turn it in, that's fine. You can turn in the entire document in each one of these parts. I will give you a grade for the specific part that the assignment is turned into. So if you turn the entire paper into part 1, I'm only going to give you feedback and a grade for part 1. But I have to, the way it's split out for me, I have to do it separately for each part of the paper, if that makes sense. So again, if you guys have questions, feel free to let me know. But for the time being, that is a quick overview of the paper, and kind of the general layout that I'd like to see. I'm going to do another video that'll go through each individual part of the paper that will kind of dive a little bit deeper into what I'm looking for in each part. But for now, I hope it was informative for you, and I thank you for watching.